Welcome to the weekly Homicide Report, the weekly program where we talk about all the people that needlessly died at the hands of another person. So let's take a look at this week's graph. Chicago has passed the 200 mark and sits at 201 and is well below the pace they had last year when they had 797 homicides. Philadelphia added 12 homicides last week and is at 171. They are also well below last year's record-breaking 562 homicide rate. Baltimore had 5 homicides last week, bringing their total to 120. They are slightly behind pace from last year's 338 homicides. The St. Louis area adds 6, bringing their total to 115. They are well behind last year's totals. Milwaukee registered 3 homicides and now has 74 on the year. They're still on pace with last year's record year, and someone needs to call Black Lives Matter because 88% of the victims are black. Washington, D.C. has 67 on the year, and at this time last year they were at 66. This graph shows the D.C. numbers going back to 2002, which was their worst year in 20 years, but it's slowly climbing back up to those numbers. There were 19 mass shootings last week, combining for the deaths of 14 and injuries to 71 others. The worst one this week was in Clarkston, Georgia, where 3 died and 3 were injured on May 8th, when 25-year-old Oficio Ohago opened fire on an apartment complex. 10 children under the age of 11 were shot and killed, and here's photos of the 33 teens who were murdered by gunfire. I did a video on 19-year-old Phoenix Castanon. He was on leave from the Navy, tried to protect a female who was being harassed and was killed for it. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. On to the murder-suicides. Now, these are just the ones done with a gun, which the majority are committed with a gun. And so far in week 19, we're at 230 for the year, and that's an increase of 14 from last week. Last year, there were 593 total, and this year's on pace to well surpass that. So that's all I have for you today, but I'll be back next week for the week 20 numbers. Until then, have a great week, and I'll catch you next week. Support this channel and pick yourself up some original crime-related apparel. Look for the link in the description.